Hello friends, welcome to next tutorial in ChatGPT RPA series. In today's video, we'll write code to encrypt and decrypt a file. Link to this YouTube playlist and GitHub repository source code is included in the video description below. So let's browse to our GitHub RPA repository. Inside the README file, if you're looking for a data masking and unmasking script, you'll find link to other notebook here. In this video, we'll write code to encrypt a given file and then combine it back based on the key. Inside the notebook, first we are going to discuss what are the steps we are going to take to perform this task. As you can see, first thing we'll need a package called cryptography. So we'll do the pip install cryptography. Then we are going to write a function which is going to encrypt the data based on a key. And then we are going to write another function which is going to decrypt the data. And this data could be anything. It could be a CSV file or an image file. In this notebook, you will also find original ChatGPT generated code, which works just fine. If you query ChatGPT like write code to encrypt and decrypt a file, it is going to generate similar code, which works just fine. But we are going to write each line so that we can understand this and use this code for our purpose. So let's get started. So let's go to our Jupyter lab and spin a new notebook here. At the very beginning, we are going to import OS package. Operating system package has a function called disk directory, and it allows you to see the content of the directory. So as you can see, inside the sample data folder, we have one CSV file, one image file, and a couple of folders. So we are going to take this CSV file and image file, and we are going to encrypt that. All right. So first thing you will need is the cryptography package. So let's do pip install cryptography. Let's run this. I already have this package. So as you can see, requirement is already satisfied. In case if you don't, this command will allow you to install, to include that cryptography package in your environment. All right. Next step, what we want to do, we are going to import the fornet function from cryptography. Fornet is a class actually. From cryptography.fornet, import fornet. So in case if you want to know what this format is about, let's go query the help fornet, and it will list all the init functions and the functions, all the methods and functions and variables inside the fornet class. So as you can see, there are a couple of functions out there. We are primarily going to make use of fornet.generate key, encrypt and decrypt. Help system allows you to go through the documentation. So take a minute and just familiarize yourself with all the content of this fornet class. So there are a couple of methods: encrypt and decrypt, generate key. We are going to make use of these methods to encrypt and decrypt a file. All right. So first thing what we want to do, we want to generate the key, and this is the key which will be used for encryption and decryption. And it could be anything. So we are going to generate a random 32-byte encryption key. It's very simple. Just say fornet.generate key, and it's going to generate a key. Next thing, we are going to define a function which encrypts the file. So encrypt file function, we are going to take two parameters. One is the actual file itself, and other is the key what we just generated. So let's go run this, and the file we are going to encrypt. In this case, let's assume that we are going to encrypt sample data.csv file. So file path and the key. We are going to write a general function so that we can change the file path later on. All right, it's also a good idea to include a couple of documentation here. It's saying nothing new. It's just saying that, okay, so accept the file path and the key, and it's going to generate a new file, and the file be named as a .enc file. Awesome. So next step is, now let's write the actual content of this function. So here, what we want to do, we are going to take the key which has been passed through the parameters here, and we are going to generate the actual format key, which will be used inside the encryption method. So format key is equal to format class, and we are going to pass that key. Now let's go run the format, see the content of the format class itself. As you can see, if you look at the class parameters, so format class, when it is initialized, when you create an object of the format class, it accepts a parameter called key. So now the format class is generated, and we have created an object of that format class, which is format_key. Now let's go. Because we are just like not hard coding the file names, so we are going to make we just use the file path here, and we have to include to read that file in the binary mode. We just open it like with open file path and read binary as file, which is f, and now it becomes very simple. All you need to do, file.read, which is f.read, and inside that whatever the data has been read, now we have to encrypt that using that key. So again, we created an object of the format class. Then inside that format class, we are going to open that actual file keep that data inside that file, all that file will be read into the data, and inside that, encrypt for net key, what we just created, which is an object of the original for net class, we are going to call the encrypt function, and all you need to do, pass the data inside that encrypt function. All right, now the encrypted data has been created. So what we need to do, we need to save this encrypted data into another file, which would be like .enc file. All right, so again, encrypted file path, os path.split text, and we are going to, because read the first string or character. Okay, and then append it to .enc file. So what this code is going to generate is going to create an encrypted file followed by .enc extension. Okay, once you see the action, it will be a lot more clear to you. All right, and next step is, all you need to do, take this new file and write it. All right, so similarly, we'll create a decrypt function. Is going to be just a reverse of encrypt function. It takes the same thing, file path and the key. All right, file path and the key, and here is just going to reverse what we just did in encrypt function. That means we are going to read the encrypted data .enc file. We'll take the key, and we are going to call the decrypt function on that for net key object. All right, so encrypted data equals to f.read, and then we are going to decrypt it. So again, one thing to call out, the key must be the same. So that's how you encrypt and decrypt a file. You cannot decrypt a file with any other key which was not originally used to encrypt that data. So here, when we are decrypting, what we will do, we'll just use another extension. We could have written the original file, but it's not a good idea. But we are going to say decrypted.dec file. All right, now let's go pass this as a write binary, and we are going to write it f.write and pass that decrypted file, decrypted data. I'm sorry. Okay, now let's go run this function. And depending on the file size, it may take few minutes. Here, this is a very, very small file, so it runs very, very fast here. All right, so next thing what we want to do, let's go call this function, because we have just initialized this function. So this function are dynamic. Inside that function, I can pass any image file or CSV file, and it just, all it's going to do is just going to encrypt that file. So let's go call this out, run this, and as you can see, one more thing. So file we are going to take inside that sample data folder. There's a file called sample data.csv. Okay, so now let's go run this encrypt function. Ouch, there's error. Key is not defined. Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't run that. So key.fornet.generate key, you have to run this. You have to generate a key before defining the function. Okay, now if I run this, it should run just fine. Now let's go see the content of the directory one more time. And here, if everything goes well, you should see another file which is appended by, like, see that sample data.enc file. So my encrypted file has been generated. Now, if you try to open this, you will see junk or garbage character here. So obviously this is not human readable, and that's what we wanted to achieve. All right, now let's go simply, we call the decrypt file using the same key. So same thing, decrypt_file. This is the function what we just created. Give the path to that file, followed by the key. Run this. Ouch, one more error. Oh, it says the file name what we used. See, that file name is sample data.c. So we don't need .csv here. Just say sample data.enc. Run this again. All right, now if I go and see the content of the directory one more time, you should see another file which has the extension .dec. All right, now let's go open the .dec file to make sure that it matches the original content of the encrypted file what we initially started with. All right, so this exactly, as you can see, is matches with the file what we wanted to encrypt. Similarly, you can use this code to encrypt or decrypt an image file, zip file, video file. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put a comment into the GitHub repository, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you very much.